Alright, good afternoon. So today we're doing some stage stuff. I did a bit of work on the graveyard this morning, and also did a bit of work on the title. I just imported the new title, and well, let me show you. I played with a little bit of trying to make it shine a little bit. So yeah, it should be fun. Says that the stream is still waiting. There we are. Right, so yeah, I put a bit of a shine on it. It's very experimental. I don't think it looks great, but it's something. It's something to work towards. I think that's just, what's this? That's just the animation thing. So why? Funny. So yeah, you see the little shine that comes across. I don't know if that really works. It just kind of looked weird and distracting, like almost like a bug. But it's something to start with. So we are moving to the stage of like trying to beautify the game a little bit. And yeah, I was thinking about how the title should go, and yeah. Did I put undead? Yeah, we don't have any undead bushes, so we could add a few of those. And yeah, I've made quite a drastic change to the way the game looks. So first, let's just look at the planes. And there's no one watching right now, but if someone's watching after the fact, maybe let me know. Does this look better? Does this look better than it did before? So we've gotten rid of the grass texture. But now, because there's more stuff in the scene, it doesn't look so empty. And we've got these grass tufts. We could actually have more grass tufts. And there's like 20,000 of them in the scene. I don't know if we ought to be like loading them. I think it's fine just to have them there because Unity automatically like culls the ones that aren't visible. And it doesn't appear to affect performance. We've just got a lot of objects in this scene. Just lots of very simple little sprites. Yeah, I changed the colour of the tuft a bit, so it's a bit more visible. And I think this looks good. I think this actually looks cleaner and it's nicer. And it lets you focus on the characters more. There was something else I experimented with, which was having thicker trees. Can I see if I can show that? So we go trees, thick outline. You see these thick outlines for the trees? Because I did that for the boulders. But actually I felt it was a bit too distracting, but I did like it. It's just it kind of got rid of some visual consistency, which makes me think, and yeah, I don't think we should have the double outlines for things that, like it was just for things that you can't walk through, so it was the tree and the boulder. But I was actually thinking I do quite like the general look of that. I like the way that the sort of double outline works. I think that's a new trick in my sort of pixel art toolkit. And in future, what I'm going to do is... I think in future what I'm going to do... Yeah, why does that end up upside down? I think it's the sword. Sorry, just looking at a weird visual bug. Very minor one, but... yeah, like maybe actually giving all the characters a double outline. The messed up thing is that means I kind of need to redraw. I need to go through all of the characters in the game and give them the double outline. I think we're sort of past that point at this stage in development. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, I want to move on. I don't want to get stuck on things like that. I don't want to get stuck in the back rooms going through loops and loops and loops. But yeah, I think this is an improvement. I think the lack of the grass texture, so I still kept the old one, but I think this actually looks nicer. This is cleaner. And it sort of fits the art style of the game a bit better, and I think is overall a decent improvement. What should we get? Let's get Bannerman. Because we've got 2 utility characters and 1 actual damage dealer, so let's see how that goes. Yeah, so this works. I'm pleased with this. I'm happy with this. I think for now, I mean, it might just be because I'm too close to the game and I can't really be objective with it. But this is actually... I'm just going to go ahead with this and say, yes, I've made the decision. All of the stakeholders have had a meeting and we've decided, yes, we're going to get rid of the grass texture. It looks nicer without it. I'd love to have more people to kind of bounce this off and check. But yeah, unfortunately I don't. So yeah, let me know what you think. Does this look better? Okay, let's quit. And actually, I haven't tested quitting and then starting a new level for a while, but hopefully it should be. Yeah, what's going on here? I think the game. So I thought I had already solved this, and I definitely had for a little bit, but it seems like the game time.delta time is paused. So the camera doesn't move, and nothing is animated. So time scale is 0. So map. Yeah, let's do time scale. So I think at start we just need to make sure time scale equals 1. Okay. But for now, all we want to do is check out the new level, which is the graveyard. And at the moment, yeah, it's pretty simple. I had a lot of back and forth on this because. Okay, so yeah, this one still has the grass texture, and I just find it looks really, really noisy. We've got our evil trees. I think we've got some evil bushes there. The evil bushes. Again, I think I want to see it without... Before I make any judgments on that, I want to try and do the same thing. So I'm going to go over to... So we want to open up stages, graveyard. Also organized my stage assets folders a little bit. We want dark grass. Hello. That seems to have caused Piscal to crash. Let's just close. Yeah, close it. It's fine. Don't know what's going on there. But yeah, we just want to open up our dark grass texture. And essentially, yeah, we're just going to do something a little bit crazy. We're going to take this and we're just going to make it a flat plane. I mean, it means that I'm probably better off using a material than a bunch of sprite renderers, but you know, it's fine. Just so we can kind of see and swap back if we want to. So if we say this is dark grass. And maybe what we can do is up the amount of grass tufts there are, or just kind of up the amount of scenery there is in the scene, just to make it a bit cleaner. But I think this is an improvement. I think the grass texture was fine, but it's actually nicer to have the solid colour as long as there is scenery, tufts of grass, bushes and trees and whatnot, which we now have. So... yeah, and so Graveyard is an interesting one. The simplest version is that it is just a reskin of the plains, but with evil things. And yeah, that dark bush. So I had two options for bushes. One is just the normal bush, but with the dark grass color. The other one is these kind of broken up dead bushes. And I think actually there's kind of a place for both of them. Like this kind of fits. Oh hey, Bone Circuit, thanks for joining. Yeah, right. So I really trust your judgment on this one. This is better, isn't it? With the flat color for the grass, it means that the tufts really are kind of doing the work to let you know that this is grass. And yeah, since we've got scenery, it actually doesn't feel too empty. And it just really makes the heroes stand out. I mean, obviously it's darker here, but yeah, denoising it really makes the heroes pop. Well, not the heroes, the characters. And yeah, the boulders are looking good. And yeah, it's just kind of like you look at this scene and you're like, okay, yeah, this is clearly like fairly amateurish, you know, Piscal stuff. But But you know, there's been some love in here. We've got nice shadows. The shadows looking a bit wonky on this tree. We might have to move it back a bit. As you can see here, the shadow doesn't lend itself well to that shape. Yeah, I think this is nicer. It's so hard for me to tell because I've been staring at these screens for a long time. But I just thought, let's give it a try. And then I started playing and I was like, yes. But maybe my judgment's impaired from being so glued to this game for so long. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. We did try with the double outlines, but I think we're kind of fine without them. I could do that for the characters, but I think it's a bit late in the game to do that. But you know, there's always room for improvement. I mean, I kind of have to calculate like how many copies of this game am I going to sell versus how much time can I put into it. And there is a balance there. Like, it's not just keep doing it until it's perfect, because it will never be perfect. But it's also don't just like rush it out the gate if there's more work that could be done. And yeah, we've got bushes, and they stick out, but they're very much the same or similar color to the background, to the grass. But it just kind of, you know, just yeah, like this just looks like the place that it is. I'm gonna grab that heel. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this, actually. Pretty pleased with this. Should make some cleaner images. Okay, so here's another thing about the graveyard. Is I was going to, yeah, and you can't. It's so hard to like step away from the thing you've been looking at for ages and look at it objectively to actually say, is this good, is this bad, or is, you know, as objectively as possible. But yeah, no, I think this is good. I'm pleased with this, and I'm happy with this level. And if this is how this level goes out, I'm fine. But I did want to honor the thing that I was practicing and looking at, which is that I didn't want to use reskins of levels, right? Because this is functionally the same as the planes. The ramparts, that has a different shape to the way units spawn and a different shape to the map. The bridge also has a unique way that things spawn, which just makes it much more interesting, and it creates slightly different gameplay and a slightly different feel. The thing that I had in mind for the graveyards was that you would have these like rows of graves, so in a way it would feel a bit more like a corridor. And I'm kind of like, actually, since some of the enemies are graves, that's going to be a bit weird. Like, that's going to be a bit jarring for the player. Footsteps. Oh, yeah. So, like, little... So, like they could leave behind little... Or at least the hero could leave behind little bumps. Yeah, that's a good shout, actually. Footsteps. Thanks for adding to my already massive workload. Just close my personal to-do list. Not much on there, but and yeah, footsteps. So that could be like a animation thingy. So we already played the sound effect. Oh, I love the way the electricity looks. We could play the sound effect, and then just in that same bit of code, we also... What would it be? It would just be like a little sort of version, like could it just be? I mean, not a shadow. Yeah, exactly. Massive to-do list. Yeah, but if it was basically, it would have to be level dependent, I guess, because the color of the thing would have to match the color of the level, and it would just be a fun way of making an area look like it's been walked through as well. That might actually be really nice. Yeah, so it would be a little sprite that would be full opacity, I think, right? But it would be the color of the off color, so it would be the same as the edges of this grass and the bushes, and it would stay there and just stay there for like 3 seconds and then slowly fade out, right? I don't know if that's going to be a lot on performance. I don't think it should. I mean, there's obviously a lot of items that are going to be appearing. We'll use object pooling. We're pretty much already set up to do that, and we'll just create like, I don't know, like 1,000. And they'll just, yeah. Okay, yeah, sure. I'm kind of tempted to do that. But I'm kind of tempted to do that now. But let's stick to what we're doing. I mean, I don't know if I should finish this run through just for testing. Oh, hello. What did we try and do? Okay. Okay, what happened here? So this is when we're equipping. So I expect bugs because this is a fairly new thing I did. So when we're equipping. Okay, so we've ended up with a list that has nothing in it. So in each upgrade, in all upgrades, if the faction is not null, if it's not a combined upgrade, if it doesn't contain 2 and it doesn't contain 3 and it doesn't contain 4, that's not very performant, but it's fine. And if the faction name is the same as the faction, so I should create a yeah, why would that, so and then if it's a weapon, so yeah, I need to test that. I mean, let's fix what I was doing. So yeah, get random weapon. Little, oval, color of stage, dark, floor, spawns when unit bounces. And yeah, that should be nice. That'll be fun. Drop the sprites that fade out. What do you mean drop them? You mean that like they sink down, or just okay, well, so this is a different issue. Get random weapon isn't working. I can test that, but what I want, well, so yeah, let's talk about what I wanted to do. So with the graveyard, and I think what I'll do just for testing, I just want to grab a sample of this scene, and then what I want to do, so as you can see, if so we're importing some assets, but I created a grave and I created a mausoleum, and the idea is that the sort of unique shape of this level would be a bit like a sort of hallway structure, like a kind of grid of hallways with these kind of big mausoleums and these big kind of fields of military graves. And the more I think about it, the more I think that's actually not great. Like that's, and there's a couple reasons. One is that it's work. that's why I need to think like, is this actually? Am I just being lazy? Shit. Yeah. What I wanted to do is get a load of graveyard. Yeah. No, it should be easy to just make a prefab, and the prefab has a script on it. Or I guess I should probably do a central controller because performance will matter here. So like there'll be a thing which has all of these objects, and when one is spawned, we kind of do a for each loop. Actually, no, that's going to be killer because there's going to be a few of them. How would we do it? I guess a script on each object might be better, and it just says wait for 2 seconds and then fade out. Maybe using animation. I don't know what would be the most performant way to do that. But yeah, let's get a little graveyard. Let's just get the game to spawn one. How much time am I losing each time in total of getting to that menu versus setting up a scene where I can just load straight into a graveyard. Okay, so then we have a version. Oh, they're still using the old trees. Okay, we can fix that easily. And yeah, if we just scan across, like it looks about what we want it to look like. And yeah, we can add graves, and they can be these kind of big blockers. But yeah, I was thinking of this kind of like hallway vibe, but I'm not actually sure that will be good gameplay. Could be annoying. Could end up with units like not like getting stuck because they're trying to get through a big obstacle, and also there's going to be some confusion between a unit which is a grave or a tomb and the object that is a grave or a tomb. So let's just take. Oh, so scenery's in there. So yeah, we'll just take one of these. Take scenery and our graveyard. And we'll just go into our like scrappy test scene. Bone Circuit, have you seen did you see what I did for the bridge level? These wobble nicely. I got ChatGPT to help me with it. It was really cool. I guess you can see the wobbling, but it doesn't look as good without the water behind. But yeah, this is quite fun. I don't know why the water's not visible in this scene. Oh, these bits are. Oh, okay. I must have gotten rid of the blue, or like the object that was the ground, because I was doing a bit of cleaning. But you see how all the pieces move in kind of like a wave, like they're not just jittering randomly. It's kind of like looks somewhat realistic, maybe a bit floaty. Maybe I could tone it down a little bit. But yeah, I thought I was quite happy with that. But yeah, we don't need this anymore. So this is just a throwaway scene to just kind of put in. This is going to take a while to just put in whatever bits that I want. So yeah, we've got a representative load of this, and then I just kind of want to see what I can do with these mausoleum and graves. So prefabs, graveyard, let's get a mausoleum in there. And so straight away, oh, I'm getting, like everything went black for a little bit. Oh yeah, there's some sort of sin cosine thing there, which is very much black magic to me. I have no idea what those really are. But yeah, there was some kind of, like those words ring a bell. I can show you actually. I got ChatGPT to do it because it's kind of beyond my skill. Or at least it would have taken me a while. So, where did I put it? Bridge, or was it plank wobbler? Bridge wobbler. Bridge wobble. Plank wobbler. Lovely. Lovely consistency with the naming there. But yeah, so this was all pretty much handled by ChatGPT. I can actually show... I did this on stream, didn't I? No, I did it... Did I do it on stream? I was going to get the... Oh yeah, and I was going to get the ChatGPT thing, but it kind of bugged a bit when I tried to show it all. But basically, there was a bit of back and forth. It wasn't just a single prompt. And there's bits of spaghetti here where we delete some of the ropes on some of the bits. But yeah, nice simple bit of code that just moves, like kind of acts like wind on the bridge. Okay, let's kind of zero this out and look at the scene. And yeah, so this mausoleum sort of doesn't really fit the art style, but I kind of made it very straight edged just to kind of again set it aside from the characters. And the kind of thing I had in mind for this level is that you might have like mausoleums stacked next to each other, creating this kind of hallway. And the thinking behind that was, or these kind of, you know, this kind of grid-like hallway, like kind of New York streets, you know, with like gaps in them. But and then the other sort of version of that, it's like a blocker. Oh, this is massive. That's way too big. I drew that way too big. But we can get an idea. It's a very simple draw, so it shouldn't be Shouldn't be a problem. Okay, now that's as small as a tuft of grass. Is it just that the mausoleum's small? That seems about right relative to a tuft of grass. And so, yeah, you'd have these graves in there that you could walk past. And this will have a nice effect because it's got the flat bit on the ground plus the grave coming out. And that you might get like rows of these because it's a military grave. And I thought a sort of nice feature military grave is that you have very literally regimented. We'd have to tell the grass not to spawn where these are, which wouldn't be too hard to do. And kind of have these rows of graves like this that you can't walk through, that would have these gaps in them. But my thinking now is that was... like, I'd love to experiment with different game modes. Like different... you know, like a MOBA. I've got that written on my list. Like maybe try and make the game a bit more like a MOBA, just to sort of try it out, and it might even end up being more fun than the main game. Yeah, I can make a script to order them, but it's just that I don't actually think this works, and it's always weird to be like to have had this idea for the graveyard in mind for such a long time, and then to get here and be like, hold on a sec, one. Is that fun? Is there any point to that? And two, does it make sense? Will it look good? Versus just saying, you know what? Yeah, this is just a reskin. I suppose we still, to make it a graveyard, we still have to have graves. But as far as the story goes, so this wouldn't be the graveyard anymore. This would be like the Dark Woods. I mean, we can do things like we can say, let's have more trees. So say this is a forest. So like let's give that a whirl, I guess. So we go to I ought to put generate scenery in a different script because it's all just sitting on the GM at the moment, but we can go graveyard trees. We could be like, give me 2,000 trees. So we're going to have twice as many trees. And then it just gives it a little bit more identity, right? Gives it a little bit more. And then I think about the. Yeah, I don't know. Like, when we're doing these, I mean, it's like Vampire Survivors does it well. As in that game, yeah, every level actually has a different shape, and that different shape is meaningful. It's not just a reskin of another level. Like, there's actual things that make the level different. But I think for what we're trying to do here, while that would be cool, and there are ways to do that, like, not all things need to be like that. Like, I definitely want a spooky level, but does the spooky level need to have some kind of spatial gimmick to it? I'm not sure it does. I'm not sure it needs a spatial gimmick. Fade the ground to an icky yellow. What, on the well, I was going to call it the graveyard, the dark forest map. I was quite sort of because this is the color of this area, so this is the area that we're in, right? So there'll be like markers around here, which will be this is where the mission is. Of course, you can go free play and just choose it. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe we can make it more yellow. Like, I'm not set on any of the colors. But of course, if we change one, we should change a lot of them. So, I mean, there's something you can do here. If we call it the Dark Forest. I did want like a icky yellow for, if we look at the map. Yeah, you see, it's quite easy for these units to get caught on scenery. Like, I'm not too bothered by it because it's just like it doesn't happen too often, and you can kind of like use it to your advantage. But like, this saves me some work. That's why I'm always wary. Like, whenever I'm being lazy, I'm like, am I being lazy, Or am I being clever? Right? There's a fine line between lazy and clever. Or just kind of like realizing that that idea you had a while back actually isn't very good. So yeah, this is the plains, and straight away, like, yeah, I mean, just having more trees there, and we'll see. So we're going to call that the Dark Forest. And I think that'll be that then. That means I've just made a new level. It's very similar to the plains. It is effectively a reskin, but I don't see a huge problem with that. I think that's okay. The ramparts and the bridge are different enough that it's okay to have the odd kind of reskin. I mean, what else could we do? Like, there are things you could do. We could put some kind of conveyor belt, right? But it would just be some wind or something, or yeah, you could have some kind of like factory level full of conveyor belts where things are moving around. But I don't know if that actually adds anything. Like, the way that Vampire Survivors creates levels is, or like different stages, is like, yeah, you got the frost stage, which is just has like these caves in them, and you can go in the cave and there's usually something. Or then you've got like the library, which is very much like the ramparts, where it just goes from side to side instead of in every direction like the plains. A drunken walk. Yeah, yeah, that carves out a winding path. Yeah, so what, it would be some kind of like spawn something pretty much everywhere, but leave a little gap. Um, yeah, like it's interesting. But like the ramparts is has a shape to it. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know if we're gonna do like the sort of carved up. But what happened here? Oh, okay, because some of them were still using the generic one. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I did a bit of cleaning up, and I probably deleted some things I shouldn't have. That's fine. I think. So we go to prefabs, ramparts. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, that makes sense. So you block everything out, and then you just have like an algorithm just kind of wind around and occasionally branch out into like little roads, I guess. So yeah, we need to take, because I think what we did is we took our walls floor. Is that the one? Lots and lots of floor tiles. Okay, we've got a lot of these, and I do mean a lot. And these are now missing a sprite, and we want brick. Does not like me doing it like this. Damn it, so I actually deleted something that I needed. I would have thought... Okay, yeah, so I've got individual bricks there. Okay, I think we're back. Yeah, I think we're back. Seeing the timer move. So, God, I'm literally dripping with sweat. It's partly the heat, partly the annoyance. Right, so... Without selecting a ton of objects and trying to change the sprite on them on my very old, very hot PC without very much RAM. Let's try that again. That's annoying. We had like 6 people, and now we're down to 0. Never mind. Stone bricks. Okay, so that is the one we wanted. And I think, like, so that one should be the default. And then so stone bricks. Yeah, that is that. So we have it. So let's not mess around. So we go prefabs, base stages, ramparts. Get in there. And then like, I'm just worried I'm going to crash my computer again. Oh, thanks for coming back. Oh, we're back up. We're back up to speed. Okay, that's good. We're still alive. All right, good. All right. So what I want to do is, without breaking my computer, I want to take all of these floor tiles, and I'm not going to cycle through sprites. I'm going to grab the exact sprite I want. Sprite, stages, ramparts, and we're replacing it with that one. So yeah, I think it was just pointing to an old, like, single... Okay, save. Is it gonna crash again now? Okay, it's saved. And that is how it's supposed to look. Okay, let's unselect all of those as quickly as possible. Collapse that, and I think that's that then. All right. Okay, we made it. We're alive. We're back. All right. So, what did I want to do? Why was I even in here? I think I just wanted to show off the ramparts. I mean, so basically, like I had set out for myself to spend all day doing the graveyard, but what I've done is decided that that sort of hallway idea that I had for the graveyard isn't really going to work. Yeah, I mean, I guess that could be a shape for a level. That could be a shape for a level where instead of... So ramparts is a long, thin line. It's the closest thing to the library in Vampire Survivors, whereas the bridge, enemy hordes, and I think all units eventually, always appear off screen to the right, meaning you've got this constant momentum to the right, whereas on the ramparts, the hordes can spawn left or right, so it's kind of like... and yeah, the difference there is... so yeah, let's have a look at the ramparts, and it should be correct now. Yeah, because I don't have a lot of ideas for other levels. Like the last one, the Demon Palace, is going to be like the bridge basically, but you go up and down. You could have like a level which instead of a big straight line is like a windy path, but I think the juice might not be worth the squeeze there. Okay, what should we get? Let's get rangers. It makes sense up here. Or, you know, archers. Archer probably makes more sense than ranger. Never mind. Need to not die. And that's one of the interesting things about this level is you can always kind of retreat back. Okay, I got a bit of armor. Oh, what? Oh, it's because they both hit me. Damn it. Okay. Well, yeah, so you get the idea. Enemies spawn from ladders, friendlies spawn from trapdoors. And it just creates like a different shape. And it means the game isn't too samey and so on. And the bridge is another interesting one. The graveyard was intended to be another interesting one, but I think probably should just be a reskin. But we call it forest, and we just put in a bunch more trees. In fact, we can put in... I think I'll put in even more trees. And if there's too many trees, we can cut a few. That's fine. But that is a good... I think that's fine. I don't think I'm being lazy. I think I'm being smart there. Like, there's no need... like, it doesn't work aesthetically. It doesn't work in terms of gameplay. And it will be a lot of effort. Like, there's just no need. Let's just have the graveyard as a reskin. And then I do have a note much later down the line of, like, experiment with different gameplay styles. Okay. So that puts us... So let's open up our to-do list. So UI, it's like, this is a big one. I'm going on holiday at the end of next week, finally. So I might actually save all this for when I get back home from holiday. Nice fresh mind, go pure UI, so I want to get everything else done. Consider double outline for characters. I'm going to put that way down at the bottom. So we can start on... Well, the footsteps might be quite fun to do. But basically... Oh yeah, planks. So the planks for the bridge. Let's do that. Let's get that off the list. We can do... So there's 3 more levels. There's the Orc War Camp, which currently doesn't exist in the story, but I think it would be a good one to have, where it's basically just... And yeah, talk about icky yellow grass. I did want to make this grass near where the orcs are a different color, but I don't know what. I wanted it to be kind of yellow. I think in the base I have a kind of desaturated one. Okay, one thing at a time. That's the thing when you're a solo dev. You get sidetracked all the time in your thought process. Bridge plank. So at the moment, this bit is repeated twice. The grain is repeated twice. So I think what I'm going to do is just do it again from scratch. The grain, that is. Actually, yeah, let's just... I don't know if you can hear my son entertaining himself in the background. It's quite fun. No, what's the best way to do this? I think... Let's just make this a random color for now. And this as well. And then let's get this one. Okay, we're back. And so I just want to do like a nice wood grain, which I think really is just sort of try and not have the lines start at the same point. Kind of like this, and then occasionally they'll form these little kind of eye shapes where you might expect a circle in a piece. Actually, that does kind of look good. And I kind of just want, although like shapes like that are going to stand out when we put them next to each other. So no, I think this should do fine. And we just get this kind of organic, kind of wood grain. Again, maybe, you know what, actually, yeah, let's just undo those. That could be done just as quickly again. Should we just export that and see how that feels? Just not have a grain at all. Make the scene less noisy. And also, let's just quickly sort out the floor for the stage as well. So we've got prefab, stages, bridge. There's our prefab for the bridge. Please don't ruin the scene. And so we've probably got, yeah, the water here is missing a sprite. I mean, we just need like anything. Why can't we see that? Okay, because of the scale. So what were we using there before? I don't know. We just need any like basic sprite, but it needs to be the right size. So what if I just put... Is that the... So why is the size gone all gnarly? Was I using a... No, it was a sprite renderer. So what was I using here before? So I obviously deleted it because I was like, oh, I'm not using that. It was... Oh, yeah, it was the old water texture. That'll be in the recycle bin. So that'll be the old water. I'll just pop this onto my desktop. Okay, yeah, so it was just this with the thing, but I just want the size of it. So it's just any texture that's 64 by 64. I mean, the simplest thing to do right now would just be to export this in pure white. I think I'm going to do that. Just a pure white block. Yeah, I guess in here we'll do. Because yeah, I deleted that because it was like, oh yeah, we're not using that water anymore. But I forgot that I was actually using that for. I don't really need to re-import it. Seems a bit silly to just have a blank white thing, but that is actually just what the doctor ordered. So stages, bridge, water, and please just give me that in the usual start. And then the water, so let's go straight to a chunk. Prefab, the water should be using that. Okay, so why? Because that is the one it was pointing to before, and it was deleting this that caused the issue. Has this? Okay, so the scale. What was it? It was like 60.1, 60.4, 64 point. No, it was 64. I don't know why this was an issue again. Yeah, because we have our width, bridge chunk. Where did we put it? Bridge. $260 by 4. Yeah, 65.1. Why did it lose that? Because that wasn't part of the sprite. And then the height, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I can check from here. Oh no, it was in the water generator, the ripple generator, 65.1 and 20. Okay, I had it right there. Silly me. Okay, yeah, that's what it was before. And that'll be our little object that creates little ripples. Okay. Yeah. What? So I'd make a texture that looks like a color palette. But when you say texture costs, is that like storage space? Because we're sub 1 gigabyte at the moment. Like I'm not worried about that. I've been thinking a lot about how that would work. So yeah, you have, instead of this kind of weirdness with creating color palettes here, because this would be my intention, is that we would have just a big square with all of our colors on it, and then we're always just referencing that square. But I think I should probably do it like this as well, right? Or both, or one, I don't know. Next time I make a project, and maybe even still with this one, when we go through and sort the colors, is just to really make, so we'd have Warbeans, and then Warbeans, or yes, Army of Survivors, the name of the game's changed. Army of Survivors characters, and then Army of Survivors materials, and so on, so you can always find, because I didn't want to add too many in one, because then that can, because you're not sure what's what. But yeah, okay, where was I? So yeah, I guess I'm just kind of a bit disappointed that the graveyard is not gonna have like a different structure to it. So yeah, let's see if we can get the bridge up now. I like the bridge. I need to fix the code a little bit so that the enemies do always spawn off to the right. Because at the moment hordes do, but like units still can. And yeah, I need to think about this. More better planks. Oh yeah, I wanted to see how it looked with the grainless planks, because if that ends up being our new art style, kind of bolder, bigger colors, but more detail, that might work fine. These descriptions. Yeah, and this actually becomes a wide open space with no rules is now actually accurate. Okay, yeah, so the bridge, Randar. And let's just kind of get a vibe of how it looks without the wood grain. Again, I think that might be better than having the wood grain. But yeah, I do like this level. I think it works well. What happens if we zoom out? Yeah, we still got it. And yeah, the way the chunks work. I don't know if like if enemies spawn around you, like if they should have a little splash, but I was actually thinking of just having them spawn off to the right, even the single ones. Or if that might actually... I think the thing is, I think I might have originally had it like that, and then I changed it back. So yeah, I'm not going to worry about that for now. But yeah, so this is how the different levels can be. They can have vastly different shapes that change the way the gameplay works, basically. And I'm a bit sad to see that I don't think I have any ideas for that for Graveyard. So moving on from that point, it was good to dwell on that point for a bit because it is important. But yeah, moving on from that, the war camp, and sorry, yeah, we're going in loops here, making a game. Well, my head is a bit like the Backrooms. I think sometimes I like that film. I think that going in loops. So, and we're doing another loop now, right? So we look at the map, and we look at this bit here with the orcs, and I wonder if they, and yeah, let me look at the scenes as well. This isn't how we should do bases, but let's switch off Ironwell. Let's see orc camp. And yeah, I've given it this kind of grassy floor because this kind of looks like, I don't know, because I'm caught between wanting it to look like sort of the Barrens from World of Warcraft, or it just looking like kind of dry, unkept grass, or like maybe a darker, murkier trodden on grass. And I've kind of gone for this kind of weird sort of apple interior texture and color, which I'm not entirely sure about. But let's say we use this for the Barrens, for the the orc camp, where we basically got this with tents, and it would be that the enemies spawn from the tents. Like, I'm not even sure that would be good. So just having a bunch of big solid objects that block. And having to kind of navigate that, like, I don't actually think that'll be fun. So I think we are just looking at like different. Yeah, I mean, like there's not really very far you can go at all with the level design on a game like this. So yeah, let's organize our thoughts a little bit. War camp, tents and tree stumps. So we'd want tree stumps and tents, and to basically make the plains yet again, but as an orc war camp with like tents and little fires and stuff. But again, I'm not sure about that. I don't think we need that. It's not part of the. We need the graveyard for the story, or the dark forest. We need the demon palace, and the scorched lands is going to be yet another sort of reskin of the plains, although maybe with even less interruptions. So like no trees, just tree stumps, and you know, like maybe broken swords on the floor and stuff like that, and like cracked helmets, but actually you can walk through them like they're not, you know, it's just like a different look. Yeah, I think that's an okay direction. And the Demon Palace stage, that's going to be a fun one to do. I mean, yeah, okay, let's start doing like the sort of orc territory bit and see how that goes. So let's go to our prefabs of stages, and we are just going to very much copy and paste the planes. We'll call this War Camp. Yeah, change graveyard. Well, we'll see, yeah, but let's make a note of this. Change name of graveyard to dark forest. And then at least there's a difference there that it's a forest rather than open plains. Okay, cool. Yeah, have fun. Sleep well, my dude. Cheers for joining. Always appreciate your company and your input. Yeah, at least there's some difference there. So we can go ahead and start doing it here. Yeah, at least there's some sort of gameplay difference. And then if we were to do the Orc War Camp, the thing is, there's never actually a fight here, not in the story. But I guess it won't be too hard to experiment. I mean, it would just be the different floor color, the tents, and I think it doesn't hurt to have different. Like for me, as a sort of very gameplay design focused person, I don't want to make a level unless it has different gameplay. But I think it actually doesn't hurt just to have more planes, but with different backgrounds and stuff. So that's Graveyard. Let's change the name of that to Dark Forest, and it has to be exact, I think. Actually, I'm not sure it does. So that's that, Dark Forest, and down here as well, stages. Dark Forest. Okay, and yeah, we're not going to need these. I don't think they work. So the War Camp. So we're going to have to do high fidelity. We're going to have to do high fidelity. Wooden, what do you call them? Tree stumps. Chopped trees. So we go assets, sprites. We're going to get the trees, and we are actually just going to chop the tops off. So stages, planes, tree. Why is it loaded thick outline? That's really weird, because I specifically just said there's tree thick outline. Isn't that odd? That's called tree up here. But tree without thick outline loads that. Isn't that odd? I think that's very odd. It loads the right image, but the name up here is wrong. Yeah, there we go. That's more like it. Let's press save to make that happen. Okay, never mind. Trees. Trees, and then we go stages. War Camp, or like Orc Plains. Let's just give this a try, because I actually think tents makes more sense than like graves and stuff like that. So yeah, War Camp, and we'll call this Tree Stump, and we will literally just chop these trees. I don't even know if we need like 3 different types, but can't hurt. I've already done the legwork basically. So yeah, we just need to draw a little hand-drawn circle in each of these. Very exciting game development right here. And then we want a color that is like the inside of the tree, which I guess would be something more like that. And we'll try and do some rings. That'll have to do, I think. Because yeah, with that resolution, we can't make any more rings than that. Okay. Yeah, let's just fill them all in first. Very simple stuff, but I think this. Yeah, it's fun to have this variety here. Does that work? It kind of looks like an eye. Okay, so we don't actually have the space to do much more than this for the rings, but I think this is okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. Just a single circle for the rings. Okay, or does it look better with a little line in the middle there? I guess we'll see both in the scene and we'll decide. Okay, so that's tree stump. So we go stages, wall camp, tree stump. Okay, what else are we going to need for wall camp? Tree stumps. I mean, bushes are the same, although we might want like the different tufts of grass for the different colored grass. I guess just in keeping with everything else, even though it's kind of odd. Yeah, we kind of just want to take a bunch of these and replace them over. So, yeah, we'd have like more boulders maybe, but yeah. Basically everywhere there would have been a tree, there'll now be a tree stump and you can go over it. But there's also tents maybe. We definitely need the tufts. So we'll save this. Stages, wall camp, tuft. And yeah, again, the colors. Because I also ought to look at the map and think about adjusting the map to have this color around the orc area. And we just want to tell this story of like the land here is like a bit damaged. But if we go with the full yellow, let's see. So yeah, quite a bit of color theory here. So if we go with that, so if we said like this color was like sort of yellowish green on the yellow side, quite dark. Like sort of a bit of a mix of like it's had too much sun, but also maybe there's been like too many people trampling on it. And then we also have to do some hills in that color, but I think I have the energy for it right now. Okay, let's just close this off because I can barely see it. Oh, what's happened? I always press N instead of B and end up making a new thing. Yes, it's like does that just look too funky? And then that would end up being our color for the orc grass. So yeah, that's a 1-to-1 of the color. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. That does actually work. We can change it later down the line, but it's like it's not yellow. We're not doing the barrens. We're just doing like trampled, sort of less healthy grass because, you know, like orc evil is affecting it, or people have been trampling it, or, you know, there's a hosepipe ban or something. And then, so yeah, if I export this, and then what's going to happen is the hills on this area are going to look like the wrong color. But we'll just have to make hills that are this color. So we go sprites, map background. And see how that translates into the scene. And then, yeah, these tufts of grass. So we're using map tuft, are we? Can we grab all the tufts of grass? Yeah, because I think that's just the map tuft. Am I going to break the computer again by doing this? Grabbing so many things. Okay, so yeah, we just need that to be a bit darker. And yeah, you've got this kind of sense that this is like slightly less healthy grass. Okay, let's see how that looks in the map. With that colour. Yeah, so I think that does actually work. We just need to change these hills. And I think I already did start making... we did start making like dirty grass. Yeah, yellow hills. Yellow hills doesn't describe it anymore, but oh, and clever me, we've just lost our reference. So we'll just open that up again. Map, background. And we're just gonna want to grab this color. Copy that. Get a darker version. Just keep the naming for now. And then so basically I just need to grab all of these hills. Grab them, please. And hopefully they're somewhat arranged together. So yeah, this is going to be annoying. Is actually getting... Okay, so these are all hills 0. I see. Yeah, we'll get them. We'll get them. Okay, so hill 0 becomes... Oh, do I have it? Did I do that? Yeah, I did. So that's yellow hill 0, and then I guess keep going until we find... Yeah, here we go. So these will be the hills 2, or hills 1, hills 2. And I reckon it's going to be... Okay, I kind of just have to keep going until I find one that's not in here. So yeah, very, very roundabout way of doing this, but not too bad. Okay, let's see if we can find more inside yet. Okay, that one's inside. That one, and that one, and that one. Not that one. Not that one. Okay, let's just do these. Good times. Actually, this should be 2. Yeah, the hill's 2. What about these ones? That's a 0, okay. What about these ones? Do we not have any 1s in here? I can't. Like, it's I hate the way selection works. I think it could be a bit more intuitive about, like, what am I aiming at? Select that for me, please. Like, selects everything else first. I mean, it makes sense, I get it, but I just feel like it could be a bit more intuitive. Mission. What mission? Jesus. guess we could just do them all manually. We just have to click 5 times to get to them. Lovely. Okay, that's a few of them. So I should give this hills 1 because I don't think we have many hills 1 here. And then I think these ones that are bordering, we can just delete them. And of course this one that's outside should just be normal hills. And actually this can be a bit further down. Nice. Yeah, I think that works. Okay, then we've got the tufts. So these bits would have different colored tufts on the map as well. So let's go over to map tufts, I think. And I mean, I think I'm almost tempted just to, so we've got this color. That's our off. And I'm not even going to save it. I'm just going to export this. Just call this yellow tuft. It's not really yellow, but we'll just stick to the convention. And then undo that, save. Such a simple thing. And then we go sprites. So yeah, this is just the stuff that I don't enjoy very much. Just like lots of sprite work and jumping in and out of sprite editor and then putting it in the game. I wish I could just have someone else do all of this for me. What are we working with? 6 by 6. Okay. I think what I can do is if I type tuft, I can just grab, yeah, that means I can only grab, okay, I should have done that. I should have like learned how to do this a long time ago. Because yeah, I'll only grab the things that I want to grab. And then, but then, okay, yeah, I can go tuft _0. There's only 2 of those in here. There should probably be more. And call this yellow tuft 0. And then we go tuft _1. Select all of these. Tuft _2. Okay, and then we've got a bunch that are like sticking out, so we just want to grab and probably it would have made more sense to just render these out as white and then color them at the Unity side. Really? Why can't I grab that? It's right there. Really? Did I move the sprite off the center of where it actually is? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. Yeah, we just need to grab some of these. Is it really like that one? This is really complicated. I think the easier thing to do would actually be to delete some of these. and just get them from elsewhere rather than recoloring them and making sure that they're sort of they have the varied versions. And just kind of paste them out again. So like, give me one of those. Do I have the right axis? Yeah. Just pop a few of those around. Like this. And then give me a map tuft 2. Is that a 2? Yeah. Copy a bunch of these around. And then do we have a 0? Where are you? Oh, that's a dark one. Oh, for God's sake. Just give me one of these. Really? I really hate when it's like you're clearly selecting something. It's like, nah, that's not in range, mate. You didn't select that. What? Obviously, you're not trying to select that. Just give me a normal tuft, please. Tuft 0. Just give me a bunch of these to just dot around, and then we've done our duty and made sure they're not the same tuft over and over again, but we're using our variants. That should do. Okay, right. So I think that gives like that's doing something. We can change the color down the line. But I think that is worthwhile, and it's like saying we're sort of seeing how the orc influence is kind of ruining the land, you know, whether it's by some force of magic or just overuse, you know. And then that gives us a different palette to make a level out of. And it also means, so we're going to want, yeah, this is our war camp tuft. Do we have our colors here? No, we don't. We've got them over here. And we've got them, this is exactly them, so we'll need that one. And that one. Okay, it didn't actually do. I wish it was more convenient in Piscal to do this kind of thing. Yeah, so that'll be our war camp tufts. Okay, we can export that. Map, sprites. Yeah, we should like make a different biome. And this should be like yellow tuft. Oh, wait, where's war camp tuft come from? Okay, we're looking at maps. See, there's the confusion. That's why they probably should have the word map before each of them. Okay, so we're looking at... No, not bases, stages. Okay, like we'll figure it out. So we have our yellow hills, we've got our map tufts. Okay. So yeah, we can sort of start to build out. So if we take planes, copy that over, And we're basically, I mean, yeah, we're just reskinning planes. I mean, it does feel like I've been spinning my wheels a bit today, but a lot of this is just thought process. So what are we calling this? War camp? We're going to have to draw tents as well. But yeah, I think having a variety of levels, even if it's just mainly visual, but functionally they're mostly the same, I think is worthwhile to have to kind of help tell the story. Yeah, so did we do trees? Did we do our trees? Yeah, we need to import these properly. Can we do both of these? I think we can. Wait, by cell count, is that going to be easier? Oh, it is. Yeah, I should just do it like that. I don't know why I do it the cell size too often. Yeah, this makes much more sense. Okay, yeah, pivots at the bottom. Slice, yeah. I think that one feels like it's too high, but that is just going to be the same as its tree origin. Can I find that again? Tree stump, sprites, stages. God, we got a lot of stuff. Tree stump. Yeah, that should be lower down, right? Okay, so we've got tree stumps, we've got yellow tufts. Oh, that's so much better with the cell count. I don't know why it took me so long to do it like this. Yeah, I'm a bad learner. Right, okay, so that's our yellow tufts. What else is going to be different about... So we've got bushes. Yeah, I mean, I think bushes would all be gone. Tufts would be there, but like there'd be the odd tree, but mostly tree stumps. Stones, yes. Pond, like we're getting rid of that. It's been there long enough. Cloud shadow, yeah, we'll keep. Bushes. So what's our equivalent? Is it just a bush in the same color? So we ought to do that. So let's get. So this feels a bit tedious, but it's all part of the process, I guess. So we go bush. Stages, planes, bush, save as, stages, war camp, bush, and then luckily we still got our colors here, so we just go, and it's the most high effort game creation you'll ever see. Okay, there's our wall camp bushes. Yeah, we got this. Some of them are called yellow, some of them are called war camp. I mean, I don't think that's going to cause me too many problems. Okay, did we export that? Yes, we did. Okay, so here it is. The settings, multiple, apply, get in there, slice by cell count, pivot at the bottom, nice and easy. All right, so we've got bushes. Okay, so then the next thing we have to do is take whatever prefabs that are different, copy them, paste them into war camp, save and pray that my computer doesn't blow up again like it did earlier. And we just grab these and we go, is it war camp? Is it yellow? It's a bush. War camp bush 0. Save, next one. I don't know if there's a better way to do this, but it's not too bad. I mean, there's as far as like the games I've made goes, and what an indie dev, especially a solo indie dev, can be expected to make. There is a lot of stuff in this game. Okay, so these can just be the tree stump. And I think we can probably do away with the sphere collider. Like, I think you should just be able to walk over these. No? Yeah? They could at least be a lot smaller. No, I think you might as well just be able to walk over these. Yeah, so let's get rid of that. Let's do that for all of them. Just remove sphere collider. We can always add it again if we feel that we want it back. I'm thinking next time I make a game, if I make it in this style, shadow would be like homogenized, and it would be kind of like I would put a thing on an object called shadow, which would automatically generate a copy of the sprite as a child of the object, rotated to global 90 degrees flat, and get the texture on it. But you know, here we are. I don't think these need a double shadow. And I should call these what they are. That. There we are. Let's update these. Are these yellow tuft or Warcamp tuft? Yellow tuft. Ah, but on the map. And it's named exactly the same as the ones on the map. Clever, clever. The shadow actually doesn't matter, but let's just make that consistent. Lovely, lovely naming conventions. I mean, we'll see if this comes back to bite me. Sometimes does. Most of the time doesn't. But yeah, I would recommend doing good naming conventions. Like, just keep it simple, keep it clear. But at the same time, I think the most important thing is that you kind of have fun and keep a good flow. So, okay, there's our Warcamp bush. Warcamp. Here's our Warcamp, where I think, do we have a texture for that grass? Stages, planes, grass. I mean, the grass texture is just a block, but you know, let's be consistent in how we're doing this, at least a little bit. The Warcamp, yeah, Warcamp grass. I mean, we would have been wise to have come up with a specific name like decayed grass or something like that, rather than Warcamp or yellow. But you know, we're learning as we go. Okay, so then these would be. Oh, we need to import that. We need to import that single block color sprite. So Warcamp. Yeah, please just. There we are. Okay. And then we need need to go over to scenes, and we need to find the script that we keep all of our scenery in, which is on the GM, which again, don't fully recommend. I should have done it a bit differently, but it won't be too difficult to change if I wanted to. So we go in here, and we basically like, I'm going to get rid of this straight away. We kind of want everything that dark tufts, dark bushes, dark trees. Yeah, we just want, let's call it decayed. No, let's stick with what we have for now. War camp, because that's the name of the level, and we'll just go war camp bushes, because that is like it's the level that decides, or the stage that decides it. Okay, bushes comes trees, and we will add the tent. Is it in tent? Okay. That's going to be our reference, because we need to draw this but bigger, about the size of a tree. So we'll keep this, we'll call it sprites, stages, war camp, tent. We can go ahead and start drawing it. And so we want a nice, kind of want to use the double line, but I think we're okay with the single line. So we want a nice like hand-drawn shape coming up. Would it be arched like that? No, I think it would be fairly straight. That little 3D to it, even less. So you've got this kind of bit of perspective on it, and let's get these colors. That looks kind of crap. I don't know. I want to see it in the scene, I guess. But let's take that, and before we draw it again and again, let's just make sure the first one is working okay. I think it might just be like kind of tilted. It kind of makes me feel like, so maybe, but yeah, we'll just, because again, I'm still not sure. I'm still like, because the war camp, it's not necessary for the game, but I think it does make sense as like a staging area for a battle. It's not necessary for the story, I mean, but it would be a nice kind of aesthetic difference. So yeah, let's export that. War camp tent. And let's just pop that in here as well. War camp tent. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Very tedious work. That's why I don't like doing this, because you've got to jump between like weird sort of tedious setup that is a bit boring and drawing, which is supposedly interesting. But I guess it doesn't hurt to just kind of do a quick pass and just get a version of everything in before we go into full detail. So stages, wall camp, tree stump. That's just wall camp trees. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, those are looking for game objects, right? Yeah. Wall camp, tree stump. Tents. Oh, we haven't made that prefab. Okay, I'm going to copy from here because I think we do want one with the double shadow. Did we not import it? Okay. So much as muscle memory at this point. Okay, that's going to be dodgy. Yeah, this type of shadow doesn't work very well with like thin lines, so I think it's like the shadow in this case needs to just be moved back, and then it should hopefully just work. Okay, we're going to need more of these, so 10, 2, and 3. Oh, already, yeah, let's do that, because then I can just, let's do that again. And I can just grab this and go down one, grab these, and then so it's all set up for when I want to put in alternate versions. Like I still need alternate versions for the boulders, but I'm still just kind of doing the busy work and yeah, I really need a holiday because at the moment I'm just doing stuff like that's easy, well, to a degree. Okay, so there's our tents. So if we go GM scenery, we've got our bushes. Did we do bushes? Yeah, we did. Got our tufts. Got our tents. And then let's just have another look at the tents. So these would have bigger sphere colliders, and I think I can actually just grab all of them. Oh no, because then I can't see it. Okay, so this should be yeah, that'll do. No bigger than that. Okay, and then GM, and this isn't the best place for it. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do this because I'm in that kind of mood today. Generate scenery should be so scenery should be on title screen. So it's going to refactor a little bit the way that we store and manage scenery. So this would have scenery, and we actually ought to, just so we don't lose all of the, yeah, don't save that. I want to get GM scenery. Not going to delete it just yet. We'll go title screen, stuff, Scenery goes on stuff. And it should have all the references, yeah. And then scenery. So scenery will always be there. These two, scenery, generate line, all of these scenery based bits go here. And then this would just go stuff dot scenery, which needs to be done. So stuff, very professional word for it, but it's basically all of the things in the game. Public static scenery, scenery. And this means we can just access all of the libraries in the game from any point. So we just go stuff.scenery.generate scenery, which should be public. Okay, and then so here, okay, so where does spawn points come from? Spawn points. Okay, I feel like that can live in scenery. Okay, and then gm.c.stage transform. Do we have that? Lovely. And then basically we don't need to reference scenery. We are just already here, so we'll go through and just somewhat carefully just get rid of those bits. Okay. And now what's not working? Shadow mover. Okay, yeah, so the transform for the scenery is, yeah, I mean, it's a bit tidier. It's not fully tidy. There's still some like little strings still attached, but this should be tidier. Just kind of takes some of the pressure off GM, but it also means that we can kind of generate scenery outside of the game. Like we don't have to run the game to generate scenery, which will make it easier for some of this testing. Okay. So then while we're in here, then this is what we were going to do. We have the bit where we check what level we're on. Stay equal to stages dot war camp. We haven't made the war camp yet. So you see just a lot of this is just kind of let's add all of our stages to, so war camp. Actually, there's not that many left. War camp, Scorched Lands, and Demon Palace. So we go war camp. What do we call it? Scorched Lands? Scorched Plains? I don't know. And actually this should not be Graveyard. This should be Dark Forest. And before I forget, this Forest, Demon Palace, Demon Tower, Demon Palace. I don't know. Palace sounds more scary. Okay, then in the sprites, we give... So this is where we store the sprites, like for the little icons for each of these levels. So let's do Dark Forest, public, sprite. Let's just copy this. 2, yeah, I think it's 3 more, so... War Camp, Scorched Lands, and Demon Palace. So that's 7 levels. We should have 1 more to make the magic number of 8. I like multiples of 4 for this game for some reason. And I'm in love with the concept of games each having their own kind of magic number. Stages dot War Camp. And then we can actually put stubs here. Wait. No, this is... We can put stubs here for the other ones. But yeah, bushes... Stones, dark trees... And then we can actually say 2,000. Let's go like 1,800 dark trees. I mean war camp trees, and 200 normal trees. That might be odd coloration, so we'll have to see. Boulders, yep. Graves, nope. We don't want graves. And we can actually leave stubs here for... which can be empty for now. Well, yeah, Scorched Lands is going to be much the same, but let's just make these stubs. Scorched Lands and Demon Palace. Okay. Yeah, we're getting work done. This is something that future me isn't going to have to do, right? And yeah, stages. Let's create these stubs as well. I think bridge is easier one to copy over. So Dark Forest, yeah. War Camp, Scorched Lands, and Demon Palace. Okay, I'm going to need to change some of that. So actually, yeah, more like... Same with this. Should have just copied from planes, actually. Never mind. So yeah, these are all going to be about the same size. Could be smaller, actually. We'll see. But yeah, always pointing to the object, always pointing to the sprite, and always adding it. And then the Demon Palace is actually going to be more like X and Z will be 9. I don't know why 9 and not 10. I think 9 just works better. And Z would be... because this is going to be the exact same as the bridge, but up to down. Okay. Yeah, so that's just something that needed doing. So obviously this is not quite right. The description is Well, we can actually do the description. So a tall, narrow space. Enemies spawn from the top, allies from the bottom. And then the Scorched Lands is a wide open space with no rules. And the war camp as well. I mean, I was thinking of like an arena and stuff like that, but I guess the important thing is to just like get it in there, and then we can start like being like, okay, maybe like what are we missing? What can we add? But this is what we need to make the story work. Okay, we're getting there. So with all of that set up, we should be able to. The last thing we need to do is... So yeah, we do not need this on... Since we've copied that over successfully, we do not need this here. Which is nice. Tidies it up a little bit. This is starting to be more organized. More streamlined. So then we have... okay, where were we? We need to find... Oh yeah, stuff. Stages. Needs to have those prefabs there. Okay, something's not compiling. This is horrible, horrible spaghetti. So that should tidy that up a bit. It's basically anything that shares the description of the planes. That's in the description. I mean, you can see what it is, but we just need... We're not going to do like level flavor. We're just going to say, what are the rules of spawning here? Which determines that. Except we're going to need to clear that for... Because we don't just want to spawn from everywhere. We want to spawn from off to the right. So we'll sort that out. Okay, lovely, lovely. Yeah, giving myself a nice list of things to do tomorrow. For today, so then we've still got something. Okay, hopefully that will work nicely. And Dark Forest, because we lost that because we changed the name. And I'm just going to go ahead and create empty folders for Scorched Lands and Scorched Lands and Demon Palace. Just getting some of this like tricky fiddly stuff out of the way so that when I do come to do this, I'm not like, you know, just some of the runway has been clear for me and it's 3 o'clock. I can do the kind of stuff like this that doesn't require much brain effort. Yeah, Scorched Land's gonna have like little fires, maybe little like swords and helms on the floor. It should be quite fun. Should be more interesting space, and maybe even like 0 things that can actually block your movement. I think that would be quite fun, just to make it kind of like this is really just a wide open space for the big battles to happen. Scorched Lands and Demon. Well, the Demon Palace is just like the bridge, but you're going upwards instead of from left to right, and I think that's just quite fun. It'd be quite fun to add like an eastern level. Like if we were to have a level where you've got to go from right to left, it would be quite cool to sort of put some samurais and ninjas there or something like that, something eastern. Right, so these are made, and then we can actually... I'm actually going to go ahead and make... the prefab. What am I doing? Okay. Just to get some of the work out of the way. Okay, so in War Camp, and we have our setup here. So scenery, if the stage is War Camp, then we generate bushes, tufts, stones, trees, some uncut trees, boulders, and a lot of I guess some tents. And we might have quite a few tents. So let's have like tents, maybe 1.5k. We want to feel like there's a few of them. Tents. And in theory, I've done everything correctly just now. And if I press play and go and try and play the the War Camp level, then it should just work. And I guess I'm also just keen to see like all of the levels available. Oh, let's do, while we're here, let's go to Dark Forest. And we've got these tree walls. And I'm going to take every single tree that is not tree 0. So let's take all the trees, every single one. And is this going to break the game? And actually we would need to do it for their shadows as well. Because basically I don't want to have to go through each one. I mean, I could probably make, like maybe after all of that, it would actually be better to generate this tree line using code, just so I don't have to, because if I have to change one of these trees, it's not just changing the source object. We could do something like, create a script which changes the shadow to be shadow copy, and then we would put that on all of these, and all it does is it finds the 2 shadow objects and changes them, and then I can and I don't have to do that at like runtime. I can just copy that and bring that into my scene. So first things first. So it's like make shadows match button basically. So tree. And hopefully the game doesn't crash. I'm not going to cycle through sprites. I'm going to save. Why? These are all should have a sprite renderer. So what's the problem? What's the problem? Which one of these does not have a sprite renderer? Which one of these interrupts me being able to Modify them as a block. Oh. One of those apparently. Okay, yeah, so we exclude tree walls. Okay, we just need to search those. So tedious, but I guess necessary. It's probably an easier way to do this. I mean, I guess generally you should try and do things in code, but then sometimes it's just right there in the scene and I just need to manually make it happen. So all of these should go to dark tree 0. And then we find tree 1. Tree space 1. No. Why is that? That clearly doesn't say tree space 1, does it? That says tree space open brackets. What's the tree 1 space? Why is that allowing those in the selection? That's a bit stupid, isn't it? That's not at all. Why is tree 2 allowed in there? Do I have to press enter or something? No? Tree 1. Why is that selecting things that aren't tree 1? Why? Is it because it's got a 1 in there? What if I do case sensitive? No, not that contains tree 1, tree and a 1. Really? Is that how this search function works? Isn't that a bit stupid? No, I want to search. Isn't that a bit bloody stupid? Doesn't that make a bit like no, I just want the ones that have tree 1 in the name, not ones that have tree and any instance of the number 1. That's a bit dumb, isn't it? It's a bit like who set that up, I wonder. Sorry, I'm getting annoyed, but I think rightly so. It's like no. We just want any tree that has. We just want the word to match tree 1. Not tree and then contains the number 1. No. Tree 1. That's what I've typed. That's all I want to see. Okay, fine. Waste my time. Waste more of my time then. It's not like it's not precious or anything. So yeah, back to maybe should do this with a piece of code. Draw a line of trees, randomly decide whether it's 1, 2, or 3. And I guess that's a bit of experience. It's like, yeah, generally always lean towards doing something with code whenever possible. Rather than manually building it in the scene. I guess it depends like what you expect to come later, but yeah, I would say it's just generally good practice to never, like if you're ever having to copy paste a bunch of times, it's like just program the machine to do it. It's probably a better way. Been doing this for 10 years and I'm still learning things. I do find that annoying though. I don't understand why it can't just, maybe that's something to do with like maybe if tree and 1 were a single word, maybe it would work better. Maybe a space just kind of like separates the search. Okay. I mean, I could easily have just written a code, just please randomize all trees. Okay, yeah, so dark forest should have so then every tree, yeah, it's just doing the shadows as well, like Because we could easily just have on each tree. So we'll just select all our trees again. Get rid of, but not the tree walls. So we just have to simmer through. I guess I'd be quite in favor of like a more sophisticated search function. Maybe there is one and it's just not immediately visible to me. So okay, so we would add like a script called shadow copy, which just takes the two child sprites simple as that. But yeah, really I should have just created a code that would sort of run across the edge of the map and create a tree line, and it could have like moved them, bumped them up and down a little bit, sort of somewhat realistically to get. Is that slightly off, or is that just me? It is slightly off. Well, I would have noticed eventually. Well, I did notice eventually. That's why I'm noticing it. Okay, good. So, yeah, that was a waste of time. Oh well. Did I save more time by not building the code? I don't think so. I think I should have built a code that would have built this tree line rather than trying to make it manually by copying and pasting. Oh well. Again, if the search function worked better, or like not better, like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but like if it worked as I expected it to, if it was more intuitive to me, then that wouldn't have taken nearly as long. Right. So that's plains, that's dark forest. And then we want to do the same for war camp. Where basically, yeah, unfortunately we are going to have to go through all of these. Is it too late? So we could put a thing that finds all trees and just randomizes them and their children's sprites. We've come this far. Let's just carry on doing it like this. It's not that hard to find the gaps because it goes 2, 1, 0, and then gap. Or transform is what I mean. Okay, and then all of these can be stump number 1. And also all of these can have shadow copy. Wait, what's that? Huh. I wonder if that's... I actually want to just try that, so... No, I didn't mean to type that in there. I just wanted to focus on the thing that I just selected. Okay. What does shadow do? So affect distance. I can't see anything. Is it like down below? What does this do? Okay, that's probably for meshes then. Okay, well, it's good to know. Okay, so that's the shadow copy. So we want tree 1. And sadly, we have to keep we just have to find tree 1, and we have to do this 4 times. So there's tree 1. So very, very tedious. But you know, lessons learned, eh? In fact, we can, yeah, so tree 1, next set. And again, I could easily write a code that just is like, oh, if your name is tree 1, then go to like go to that sprite, but or just have a more robust thing for like scenery, and you know, we can do that. But yeah, it's all just experience, I think. Got enough going on in my head. If all I had to do was the environment design, then I probably would come up with all kinds of clever ways to make building and maintaining and editing environments really easy and streamlined, but I have to think of everything. So yeah, excuses, but I don't think they're bad excuses. So then this one's a bit easier because there's fewer that have the word that have the number 2 in them. So there's less scrolling to do. As if anyone's going to notice that the shadows are different, or that the tree stump. Yeah, I guess you do notice that the tree stumps are different. But yeah, I definitely should have done this in code, because then I could have wobbled them, and it would have been more randomized and kind of less of a pattern visible. But there you go. So I think we're going to have to do that one more time for Scorched Lands. And Scorched Lands is going to be like, I don't know, it'd be nice to have some like random lightning bolts. I mean, there's a kind of type of gameplay is like having random fires about the place, which would of course mean that you're synergizing well with your fiery stuff. So that could work, could be fun. Just as ways to make the maps more than just kind of cosmetically different from each other. Okay, so in theory, I should be able to press play and go and try out my war camp level. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Maybe it doesn't have to extend further than where they've actually set up camp. So here we are, we've got all our lovely levels. Although Scorched Lands, yeah, let's fix that. Stages, Scorched Lands, Demon Palace. Of course, War Camp is one word, obviously. Right, so let's do, yeah, War Camp. See how this goes. No! What's wrong? Ah, easy one. So stuff. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to in stuff we go scenery equals get component scenery. Yeah, and hopefully everything works with that minor refactoring. Oh, that's odd. Why is that there? I swear that wasn't there before. Or was it? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we should have the minor goblins come out of the tents. Like the minor enemies come out of the tents. And yeah, there's definitely something weird about the way I've drawn this that makes it look like it's leaning too much. Yeah, the odd tree doesn't look too out of place. So maybe we could have the odd normal bush. Boulders look fine. The tree stumps look fine. The tents shouldn't vary in size. The goblins all appear to be appearing at 0. So that might be something to do with the level. My allies are appearing by my side, are they? Yeah. Standard spawns are all at 0 for camp. And then yeah, we could. The thing is, like, we could have like totems and maybe torches, but the thing is, there is actually a unit called a totem. I don't know if I'm overthinking that because it doesn't actually need to be that complicated, but. And yeah, we could have spawn points for the goblins. The tent shadow isn't really working. The shadows in general have been a bit dodgy. I might actually even be better off with a just using like an engine shadow. I don't think so. I don't think that's performant. Yeah, so tents should all be the same size. And tent shadow looks wonky. So how can we fix that? I think it's sort of a matter because if you have, it's just like this style of creating a shadow doesn't work well for situations where you have like a wider bottom. Like it works for this tree because I mean you can even see like the edge of the shadow there. Might need to change the way we do shadows in general. Like maybe a shadow should just be a circle under the object. That's a good shout, actually. Should shadows just be a circle under the object? Because actually, you can't really see it, but tufts have shadows, I think. Or I think they did for a little while. Yeah, tufts have shadows. And rocks, stones have shadows. You can barely... Oh no, I think... Yeah, stones have shadows. So it feels almost pointless. And maybe the shadow of the tree would look better if it was just kind of a vague circle underneath. Right? Or do I just need to like fudge it so it works for the objects that it doesn't appear to work for? Like, you can't really notice the problem with the shadow of the tree stumps here. But for the tents, it's quite stark. Like, you can tell that the shadow just clearly isn't working. So consider making shadows little circle below object rather than projection, which would undo a lot of the work I've done to make sure that the shadows actually cover the object. I mean, to have actually made those shadows. But looking at it now and having seen more objects, it's like actually, I think at least in the scene, we might do better with just a little circle, little oval shadow just beneath the object. It also kind of tends to give them more weight. Like, the characters look fine. It works for the characters, but actually not all of the characters. So, yeah, I think I'm going to end the stream there. So thanks everyone who joined. Really appreciate all the new subscribers. And, yeah, I should be on tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So have a great evening. See you soon. Enjoy the weather. Goodbye.